So typically I work a lot with contracts, might be negotiating a contract, maybe a contractual dispute, maybe something that is up in litigation. So a lot of times the underlying facts may not be the most interesting to a non-attorney, but I do have two cases I'll just mention briefly that really stand out. The one was I had a real estate matter that involved an old 17th century or a revolutionary era inn, which had been turned into a bar and a restaurant and a hotel. And there were all kinds of issues with that and getting that transferred, and there were bank debt issues and so forth. But learning the underlying history of that particular building, getting to work with the individuals who knew the history, the furniture that was there, all that kind of stuff. Some of that was relevant to the case. Some of it, a lot of it wasn't, but it was really interesting to work in that environment and to see what the new owner did in terms of converting. They converted it into a wedding venue with rooms. So it was really interesting. I've been there for dinner since then. So that was an interesting aspect of that particular case. One other case that I would mention is I had a case several years ago that ended up going to trial, and our client was in Europe and had sold a championship horse to a local buyer, and then they got into a dispute over payment, and it was a basic contract case, and there were evidentiary issues. But what was particularly interesting about it was working with someone from Europe, dealing with them, trying to get over the language. It was an English-speaking person, but the language barrier at times was somewhat difficult, not only in terms of understanding the dialect, but certain words they used we understood differently. Like she would talk about, like what she did was she worked for an estates business. And when people say estates in the United States, what they mean is an estate where someone passes away. Well, what she meant was real estate. So she was essentially a realtor, but I had no idea that's what she was talking about for quite a bit of time, until I was like, could you really explain what you do? It sort of doesn't make sense based on my understanding of how we use that term. And then she said, oh, well, I help people buy and sell residential real estate. It makes perfect sense now.